Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good.
I saw pictures of you guys going to like the Polar Express. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. My mom and my stepdad got tickets for us and their other grandkids. It was really fun.
That is awesome. Like it's really nice. Like that you have something like that. Obviously we don't because we don't even have snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice.
Well, we don't have snow either, really, but they do at night, so you
Oh,
can't really
okay.
see that there's snow. We live
Oh,
in
so
the
you
desert.
guys have like a warm Christmas? Oh
Yeah,
yes, you're in Arizona. Okay.
it's just starting to cool off now, but it's been like way hotter than where we were from in California.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, our Christmases are it's summer here during Christmas, so it's weird.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah, so my kids, like it's very difficult for them because when they watch movies, they see snow and pretty lights and everything, and then in real life it's like, why is it hot outside?
Ah, that
Yeah,
is true. I
so
didn't think about that. Seems
so
like a
one
lot of
day,
things are kind of based off of like American everything, huh?
yeah, because that's how pop. So most movies that they watch are American, music, everything. Like all the Christmas music talks about snow and dreaming of a white Christmas, and so it's hard
Yeah,
to like,
I didn't think about that. That would be kind of crazy.
yeah, yeah.
Well, should I
Um,
send Courtney and Mike the link?
yes, I think you can. I also just wanted to send you the link to the videos that I'll be using, just in case something happens.
Okay. Hey, I don't have my
Uh,
headphones on. Does it sound okay without the headphones?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound any different.
Okay, good. All right, I will send her the link then, and I'll pull up my email so I have the videos ready.
Okay, I'm just gonna
I
open
put
them
like
here.
I put appointments in my phone so that I remember the next this
uh,
meeting is on Friday. Like I don't want to forget it.
oh, me. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've sent the videos to you. They should be coming through in the next, hopefully not too long.
I got them.
Okay, perfect. Okay. The other one is a little bit long, so I don't know. I've been trying to find a replacement video, but I can't. And Sister Bill approved it, but I still.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if she approved it, then it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, Everything here is open, and I'm working on the learning integration. I'm almost done with lesson 2 for them. And then as soon as we finish this lesson, I'll just do that. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to sit here and do them and send them through. Um, yeah, so I know for McCallum's, we'll be done by the end of the day. And then you can let me know if there's anything that I need to change before we turn it in.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
feel
I
like
know
that
it's.
was pretty easy. That part of it.
Yeah.
The hard part was like finding something from the lesson that like was something that we learned previously. You know what I mean? Like something because it
Mhm.
said in the directions like something you observed in the lesson. It's like something I observed. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. Some of them I just thought, well, the learning integration was like the material that we like use for the presentation. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we've already done that. Why do we have to explain? Yeah. But I
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I have a problem. I struggle with like getting started because I'm not confident in my ability to do it. But when I start doing it, I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I'm sorry that that takes long, but I have to question myself so many times. Can you do it? Are you able to?
Yeah.
And then when I get into it, then I'm like, okay, I can do it, and it's actually not as hard as I thought that it was. But yeah, that's a struggle, and I
I know I
know that I need to
procrastinate sometimes
do
too, because it's just,
it.
even if I feel confident in doing it, I just know it's going to be work, you know?
Yes,
And sometimes it's
yeah.
just like putting it off because I just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
Like
and I
dreading
mean,
it.
like, you know how much effort and time, and you have to be so focused to do it that it's hard to find that, especially if you've got kids and family, and it's like, oh no, I'll just do it later. But yeah, anyway, what else do we need to prepare for regarding the portfolio?
Well, we have to do the analysis for the evaluations. Like, did you get an email?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
Courtney said
Yes.
their computer's loading. Did you get that email about the evaluation stuff?
Yeah, I
So we
did.
just have to like analyze that. And I don't think that was just our evaluations though, because looking at it, it seemed like it was from the whole group.
Yeah,
Did you
it
get that
was.
feeling?
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was. It was for all of us. Like, it wasn't just our people that responded. It was our people and Ashlyn and Jill's people as well.
I think it was maybe even our whole class, because it said like there was ones on there. It was like 15 count and stuff like that. It's like, well, if there's 15
Yeah, that's, I
people,
was
like it must
trying
be
to
more than
count
just
that
our
as
group. It had to
well.
have been like the whole class, maybe,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
But
Okay. So that's
we'll analyze
interesting
it. It'll
because
be
it's
fine.
like
Because there was like
workshop
some of
next
them
week.
that I thought our participants probably would have said yes to some of them. Like, was
Yeah,
the
I was
lesson
like,
like planned from their learning goals? And I thought, well, all of our lessons were planned like from like
yeah, and it looked like there was like one person. I was like, who is this one person that keeps saying no and they didn't learn? And
yeah,
it just seemed like there was one recurring person that just didn't like, always had like the worst, like, you know, like, do not agree type of thing to everything.
right. I was thinking that too. Because you'd see most of them were like 5 or 4, and then there'd be like one who was like 3 or 2. It was
all the time.
yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to check here.
I mean, I've gotten positive feedback from them after our lessons from our participants. So
Yeah.
I feel like they've been pretty
So you
pleased
know
with it.
that they would, yeah, they wouldn't say bad things about the lessons because they seem like they enjoy them.
Yeah. Even like you think Mike and or not Mike, Kellen and Allie, like they're students themselves too. So I'm sure they were like trying to go easy on us, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so what do we have to do with that? Do we just have to say like we analyze this and source that, or what?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, this is basically like the general feedback that we're receiving, and this is what we learned from it. This is what we could do better, like that sort of thing. There was an example in there, like I don't know if you remember when. Oh, there they are. Hey guys.
Hello.
Well, Ayanda's gonna teach our last lesson. So, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
You fast, but it was good.
And now it's like countdown to Christmas.
Not coming too fast.
I was telling Chantal that I'm in South Africa and we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We celebrate Black Friday. But apart from that, it's also like really, really hot here. Like, it's summer. And so when kids watch movies and when they listen to music that talks about having a white Christmas or playing in the snow, it's just such a contrast for them. Like, they just don't understand why Christmas is hot when on TV it's cold and there's snow.
It's always snowing.
So
That's
yeah.
funny.
Thank you so much for making the time to meet us. I know that you guys are really busy, so we always appreciate the time that you have to meet with us. And it's actually interesting. The lesson that we have today talks a lot about finding balance in having a really busy life. So I'm going to go ahead and start presenting. I won't be able to see you guys. Chantal will let you know, or if you have any questions, just shout. You can even just interrupt me if you want to say something. I don't mind. But today we're going to talk about balance in family life. Again, it is Brigham Young University, Idaho. We are Brigham University, Idaho students. We're doing the Family 445 practicum, and my name is Ayanda Sidzatani, and I'm working with Chantal Minden, sorry, and we're working under the supervision of Dr. Amanda Beal. All right, so one of the things that, one of the people that talked...
We can't see the slides.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, just one moment. Okay.
There we are.
There we go. Sorry about Okay. Okay, so Elder Ballard talked a little bit about finding balance and why it's so important. And he says that perhaps none need the principle of balance in their lives more than those who are driven toward accumulating things in the world. Moreover, numerous good and honorable causes beckon time, whether selfishly or unselfishly. We may get and spend, hurry and scurry, come and go, and later discover that we've laid waste our emotional and spiritual strength and given our hearts away to things that matter very little in the end. The Book of Mormon prophet Jacob, paraphrasing Isaiah, warned, "Do not spend money for that which is of no worth, nor your labor for that which cannot satisfy." So obviously in the life that we live in, there are a lot of things that take up our time, a lot of things that take up our energy as well. And it's just important for us to find balance so that we are doing the things that matter most to us. And in order to find balance, Elder Ballard suggests that we establish priorities, that we set attainable goals, that we study the scriptures, that we pray often, and that we live the gospel. There's a video that I want to share quickly that talks about finding balance. And this video is by Sister Julie B. Beck. And I'm just going to switch screens here quickly, just so that I can be able to. All right. Can you still see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's about making choices about. There are always 10 things we could be doing in every moment or hour we have. And it's okay. We've talked before in other shows about making choices about the things that are essential and the things that are necessary and the things that are nice to do. For me, I sort of categorize my life in those categories. The essentials have to be taken care of first. There are a lot of necessary things that need to be done. I have to write a talk for a major broadcast. No one's going to write that talk for me. I have to force myself to sit down and study and do the reading and the writing that gets that done. It's a necessary task. And then there are some nice to-do things that add beauty and variety and lift to our lives. They lift our spirits. President Ezra Taft Benson gave this counsel. He said, "When we put God first, all other things fall into their proper place or drop out of our lives. Our love of the Lord will govern the claims for our affection, the demands on our time, the interests we pursue, and the order of our priorities." I love that. It's our love of the Lord that does that. And I try to choose things where I can feel the Lord's approval in that choice. I don't think He wants me to be working every minute. He wants me to be a whole person.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I really like what Sister Beck mentioned, and she talked about 3 special things or 3 categories that we can, that we can use to differentiate things. She says that there are things that are essential, there are things that are necessary, and there are things that are nice. So based on that, we're just going to do a quick activity just to, talk a little bit about that. So we're going to give you about 5 minutes to discuss things that you can do every day to ensure that you find balance. And in addition to that, please just also take some time to figure out, what do you feel like takes up the most amount of your time? So the first question is, what do you feel takes the most amount of your time? And then what can you do every day to ensure that you find balance? So just write a list of daily goals that can help you find and maintain balance. And then after you take the 5 minutes to write the goals, please just come back, and each of you, if you can please just share 1 or 2 of those goals with us. Is that okay?
Real quick.
Okay, I'll keep that on there just so that you can be able to see what it is. The first question is not there, but so the first question is, what do you feel like takes up the most amount of your time?
Okay. So, I do not.
And you guys can mute us out if you need to discuss a few things with your audio.
Did you say something, Courtney?
Thing that she said. Sorry.
She was saying if you wanted to mute your mics, you can, if you wanted to discuss things in private.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this one.
Can you close the door again?
Sorry, a timer went off on the oven. I'll be right back.
It's okay.
Is that it? I'll have just a couple.
Okay. If you're ready to share them, we would more than appreciate that.
Okay, so my first one is find time for prayer. If I'm being honest, sometimes a lot of the time, I just don't even think about it, and I feel like on some of the blessings, I guess, that I could get that could help me throughout my day. And then another thing was just to create a routine and find time to breathe and, I don't know, spend time with each other. And like she said in the video, not just work all the time, which is what I feel like we do all the time.
And then one of mine was make time for scripture study, because, like she said, for praying, it's something we don't really think about. And hustle and bustle of getting whatever we have to done. So you kind of want to fit that into our day. And I want to fit in at least 5 minutes of exercise every day, because school and everything right now, it's just by the time I get home, I'm just tired. I want to go to sleep or something, or be lazy. A lot of the time, I don't really do it, even though I want to. I know I should.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing those goals with us. And I like that that's something that's important to you, like the spirituality and like, taking time for to rest and to, it can be hard to do that. But I like how, Mike, you mentioned that even if it's just 5 minutes, like if you even take just 5 minutes to work out, I know you mentioned that that's something that you enjoy doing, but it can be hard to do if you're tired and you're just burned out. And I also like that you mentioned that, because it's something that we're going to talk about as well. Just like part of finding balance in life means you have a physical balance. It means that you have a balance in every aspect of your life. It's not just, oh, I can just, just because you work all the time, but it's finding balance in every aspect. And even if that balance requires just 5 minutes, it's something towards, it's something, it's an effort. And whether it's like a few minutes studying scriptures or a few minutes doing some physical activity that you feel like will help you, all those things can be beneficial. So we're going to be talking about that balance. I'm going to screen share again and continue with the presentation. But thank you very much for sharing your insights regarding that and how you guys will choose to spend your time. Chantal, can you please read the quotes that are on this page, on this slide?
You're not screen sharing yet, but I will.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go.
Okay, I'll read them now.
Thank you.
Wellness is a state of health, mental and physical, that increases the individual's ability to meet his or her full potential. Striving toward wellness is a personal responsibility. Burnout represents an overload of obligations in relation to the perceived benefits of a task. In other words, work begrudgingly becomes a priority in one's life. This can lead to feelings of isolation. Oh,
sorry.
It's okay. This can lead to feelings of isolation within one's own life and indifference toward one's duties. Burnout can include feelings of hopelessness or apathy toward family and low energy and tiredness. Being late or absent from work is another associated risk of burnout.
Okay, thank you very much. So in these quotes, we see the balance between wellness and having everything go well and balance. And then burnout, where you just feel like you're just done. Like, not only are you just burned out by the one thing that you keep focusing on, but you're just burned out by everything that needs to happen afterwards. So like I said, we're just going to share a list of things that represent wellness, and how if you have wellness in all these areas, then you can be able to have wellness instead of burnout. So you want the one instead of the other. So the areas in our lives that require balance are our physical, our occupational lives, our social lives, our spiritual lives, our intellectual lives, and our emotional lives. So we're going to share a little bit about each, and then we'll talk about that. So the first one is the physical well-being and how we can be able to attain it. Mike, can you please read from that slide for us, please?
What is physical well-being and how can you get it? Physical well-being means that you take care of yourself. This enables you to function at an optimum level. Exercise, good nutrition, and getting adequate sleep.
All right, awesome. So thank you so much. In the beginning, you just mentioned that you try your best to even fit in like about 5 minutes of exercise. What are some other things that you guys do to incorporate physical well-being in your lives?
I feel like right now, I don't know, everything is just go, 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 but like adequate sleep, I feel like that's really important. Just because, I don't know, your mind, like away you going and motivated. I don't know.
Courtney, are you at that stage where you stay up at like 2 a.m. in the morning yet, or have you not gotten there yet? Because I don't want to scare you.
With his work, we're up at that time. We're up at like 12 in the evening. But no, not 2 in the morning.
Okay, that's fine then. Maybe it won't happen for you, so I won't continue with that. But I like how you mentioned getting adequate sleep, because that's something that's very important. Like, to get the rest that you need, even though you are busy. And adequate for one person might be 8 hours. Adequate for someone else, like for example, it's 4 a.m. my time. Like it's, it depends on who you are and what you do, but as long as we work hard to do what we can, there's no pressure to be like, oh, you have to work out 45 minutes a day and you only have to eat broccoli for like 10 days. But as long as you are trying in your sphere, then you have physical balance. The next type of balance that we're going to talk about is occupational well-being. And how we can find joy in our jobs. So I'll just read that. It says, occupational well-being is about finding satisfaction and worth in your work. This includes feeling confident in your ability to find and obtain a job, recognizing opportunities that lead you to new skills and acting on those opportunities, pursuing careers that complement your personal goals and values. So obviously, again, it doesn't help to be happy at home, but then go to work and have that feel like a drudgery. So sometimes, even though work or the demands that we have in our lives are difficult, if we enjoy the demands, then the difficulties kind of are not that hard to deal with as well. The next type of well-being is social well-being. Courtney, can you please read the slide?
Yes. Social well-being is finding strengths in one's personal support system, social responsibilities, and cultural influences. With liking yourself as a person, interacting easily with people of different ages, backgrounds, races, and contributing time and energy to the community, and develop new friendships.
All right, awesome. Thank you. That one is also nice because it's like, it's just a reminder that we're not alone in the world. We deal with other people and we have to interact with the people in the world around us, even though it can be hard sometimes. But that also adds to the well-being that we have as a whole individual. And then spiritual well-being. You guys talked a little bit about spiritual well-being and how you want to make sure that you study the scriptures and you take time to do that as well. But I'm just going to ask Chantel to please just read this slide for me.
Sure. What is spiritual well-being and how can we get it? Spiritual well-being includes philosophical understanding, personal responsibility, and environmental sensitivity. This includes spending time defining personal values and ethics and making decisions that complement them. Being open to different cultures and religions, spending time alone in personal reflection, participating in spiritual activities.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that a lot of times, this is something that I heard once when I was learning about studying the scriptures, and they said like a lot of the spiritual aspect of studying the scriptures comes also in the meditating part of it. And it doesn't mean you have to take like 15 minutes to study the scriptures and 15 minutes to meditate, but those short moments where you ponder about what you learned makes such a difference. And it's that thing that I was reading also said that a lot of times, a lot of revelation has been received when people are pondering. Joseph Smith pondered a lot, and the Restoration came up. President Joseph Fielding Smith spent time pondering, and he was able to receive the last section of the Doctrine and Covenants, where he saw the spirit world and all those things. So we find that a lot of time when we spend time reflecting on the scriptures, we find revelation for ourselves in our lives as well. So it's something that's very important. Another important part of well-being is intellectual well-being. So intellectual wellness is about exploration of personal skills, cognitive sensitivity, and scholarly needs. It requires listening, questioning, learning through varied experience, so reading and writing and sharing and exploring. And it just includes observing what's around you. So that can be hard to do when you're busy, because it's like hard to be like, oh, okay, let me just be intellectual for like 2 minutes, you know? But I think more than anything else, you don't have to set time aside to do it, but it's just in your everyday experience. As you look at life and as you observe it, you can take time to think about what you learn and what you're taking in.
I think that observing can be a big part of pondering too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Chantel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, can you please read this slide about emotional well-being?
Emotional wellness is about the, what is it? Focus? Yeah, it's about the focus of control, self-concept, and stress management. Positive attitude, taking responsibility for one's own behavior, viewing challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles, and functioning independently but knowing when to ask for help.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I love that picture of like the little smiley face in the middle of all the sad faces, because sometimes we do live in a world where people complain and they have this to say and they have that to say. But I really believe that as we find strength and positivity, that we can share that with others, and we can be a bright light in the midst of others. All right, Courtney, can you please, okay, so I'm just going to ask a few questions about the types of well-being, and then we'll continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back. Let me go back a few slides. Okay, there we go. So with regards to this list here, which ones do you think that you guys are the strongest at? Which one do you feel like you found wellness in?
one more thing. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. We couldn't hear what you said. You broke out really a bit one more time.
Ah, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was just asking a question about like of the things that we talked about when it comes to finding balance, which area do you guys feel like you are the strongest at? Which area do you feel like you found the most balance in, based on the ones that are on the list?
I don't know. I kind of want to say intellectual or emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the ones that we strive more in than the others.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. That's awesome. So you guys are thinkers, which is nice.
And yeah, like you said, he's working on the occupational with this school and going to school for that, specific thing.
Yeah.
So he's got that down.
And like, there's gonna be times in your life, like seasons. We all have seasons in our life where, one area of wellness is gonna be it's gonna be a little out of balance. And like, Mike, I know like you're a UPS employee, so this time of year is crazy for you guys. So it makes sense that work is just like taking over your life at this point. But in a few months, hopefully that'll die back and you can kind of get more in balance with everything else. So don't get too hard on yourself, because it is part of life sometimes. Just you hope it doesn't it's not prolonged.
Yeah.
And like, for example, with physical well-being, Courtney, you're obviously not going to be doing like deadlifts with like 10 pounds of, weight, whatever, you know what I mean? So just because you're not able to do that now, it doesn't mean that you can't have physical well-being, or that it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you won't have balance in your life. It just means that at this stage in your life allows or permits that type of physical well-being, or that type of, so as long as you have like tidbits of everything and a little bit of each in everything, that's how you find balance. And I think the word balance sometimes confuses us, because it makes you feel like you have to equally have balance in all of them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. Sometimes, like Mike, you were saying you want to find occupational well-being. So maybe that might be 50%, and then spiritual well-being might be 20%, and physical well-being might be 1%. But as long as all of them are incorporated to a certain extent, that's balance. And as long as you feel good on the inside, that's balance. It doesn't mean that you have to feel the pressure to like take all of them off to be like, okay, I am well because I've got 100%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
I think like it depends on your personality too. Like I think about my husband, he's like a real introvert. So like social wellness for him is not like social wellness for me would maybe be like 25%. Like I need a lot of social interaction. But my husband maybe might need like 5%, and so for him, he feels balanced if he's just getting a little bit. If he gets too much, then he feels like out of balance, and so it just it depends on like your personality type and what you'll know when you're feeling balanced, because you'll feel it,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like an introvert, and I feel like us as a couple, like we're okay with just staying home and not, I don't know, going out with people and stuff like that. So we're,
Well, and just having like your own social interactions between the two of you might be what makes you feel balanced too. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be with people outside of your home, If that's what makes you feel balanced, then that's good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely relate with that. Like for me, the perfect day is where I'm home all day and I don't have to talk to anyone. And I can just read a good book or just, so, and then, and then some people just like, my husband is the opposite. Like, he wants to talk to people, and he, you know, and sometimes it's exhausting for me. So we always have to find a balance with, like, that's our balance. Our balance is I have very little social interaction, like, as in, like, leave church immediately instead of to stay an hour to talk to people. But it doesn't mean I don't like people or I don't enjoy them, but it just means that for me, like Chantal said, because of our personalities, there's different things where we can find balance, and different ways or measures that we can find balance in our lives. So yeah. And, you know, like, with regards to these questions, having that in mind and talking about the different personality traits and what's important to us, how can you guys help each other find balance in your lives?
I think encouraging, like Mike said, when he comes home, he likes to just be lazy, and that's okay, but maybe encourage him, like, hey, you do want to make that goal to, you know, do the workouts or whatever, and I can kind of encourage him to do that. Just like encouraging each other.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So it's not nagging, but encouraging.
Well, maybe a mixture, but
sometimes I think I read somewhere that it's good to kind of, like, if you recognize that you need something, but you also recognize that you have a hard time kind of reeling yourself back in from something. Like, so for example, Mike, you said you like to come home and be just relaxed and, you know, kind of veg out from the day a little bit. And so, like, some of that is good, but then it can become too much if you're just sitting there for hours, you know? And so maybe having, like, giving yourself a time limit, like, say, okay, when I get home, I'm just going to sit down and relax for like 20 minutes, and then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to, you know, whatever it is that you need to do. And then Courtney, you could help him by kind of being like, hey, you know, it's been about 20 minutes, you know, what did you want to do now? Or I don't know, something, but kind of helping, like, setting boundaries for yourself and then helping each other to, like, stick with those boundaries.
yeah.
But like Ayanda said, in like an encouraging way,
Yeah.
not like a nagging way.
Yeah, and I think especially, and it just depends. I know, Courtney, you mentioned earlier that you want to also, like, have a schedule. I also do coaching with a couple of people, and one of the people that I was coaching is a mother, and she struggles with like, she in the beginning wanted you know, to have like a rigid schedule. Like, I've got 5 minutes to study the scriptures, 20 minutes to exercise, and she found that it was like so much pressure to just have it like that. So for her personally, she just wrote a list. Like, every day she would write a list of the things that she needed to do, and it didn't necessarily have like a time factor, or like they kind of did, but it was like, around 8 o'clock I'm going to start doing this, or after 20 minutes I'm going to start doing this. So in regards to what Chantal is saying, you know, it's, you know, you watch a movie or you just chill for around 20 minutes, and then, you know, so you kind of set a time frame for it without making yourself feel too much pressure to do that. Because if you do, then you start going more towards the burnout part, because you're like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, you know. But I like how you mentioned, Chantal, that it's just like, you know, it's when you feel like you've done it, you've been doing it for a long time, maybe it's about time that you move on to something else.
Yeah. It's even sometimes hard to find a balance between, like, rigidity and chaos when you're trying to, like, create a new habit within yourself. Because, like, you think about dieting, right? Like, with dieting, it's sort of like polar opposites. Like, you're either really, really good or you're really, really bad. It's like neither of those tend to work out for people. So it's like better to find a balance where, you know, you're eating healthy, but you're allowing yourself to have, you know, some treats every once in a while. And, like, it's even kind of a balance in just creating new habits, like not being too strict, but not being too loose about it either, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what balance is all about. We just have one more video to share, and then we'll just end the discussion. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen again and play the video.
Okay.
Just let me know if you
Might
can't
just run
see it
here.
or if you can't hear it or anything like that.
Okay. Okay.
My grandma's favorite story was about how everything cost 2 cents when she was young. But now, everything constantly got more expensive. And it was all because of the government. These uneducated pigs didn't know how to control prices. And when I was privileged enough to hear the story, her complaining would last for hours and hours. And that's exactly what reactive people do. They always focus on the things that they cannot control. It's not possible that a concept like inflation would exist. And if it did, it's impossible that they wouldn't know about it. On the other hand, proactive people realize, look, even if my complaining were completely objective, it doesn't help me. So I'm going to focus on what I can control. If a proactive person owns a business where he sells a product, instead of focusing on how people these days don't appreciate products anymore and how the government has horrible regulations, he focuses on how can I improve my product so my customers can't live without it. Do you realize how much responsibility, how much dedication, how much hard work comes along with asking that question? And what do you think our effort minimizing brain is going to pick as default? That is exactly why most people focus on the things that they cannot control rather than focusing on the things that they can. Habit number 1 is be proactive. Now, imagine you're at a funeral, but this one's different from all the funerals you've ever been to. You're standing over the casket and you see yourself. What do you have to say about yourself? This is one of the most powerful questions you could ask. Are you doing the things in your life which are aligned with what you want to be able to say? Do you want to say that you are a good spouse? If that's the case, how does coming home and instantly being negative towards your spouse affect that? Do you want to be remembered as a person who added value to society? If that's the case, are you doing the things that will allow you to say that, or are you scared of failure and choose comfortable mediocrity instead? Almost every one of us will have to readjust how we live when we ask this question. Habit number 2 is the end in mind. Now, if I were to ask you, what are the most important things to you? The most common answers I would get would be either your well-being or your relationships, your family, your spouse, your children. You would never ever say organizing papers or watching TV. But how many of us spend more time organizing papers and watching TV than planning our nutrition and going to the gym or cultivating a healthy family environment? There's a horrible disconnect between what we say and how we actually allocate our time. Habit number 3 is first things first. Now, imagine you're an author and I'm an author, and we both write interesting books, and we both have access to an audience of about 100,000 people. I read your book and I love it, so I decide to share it with my audience. And as a result, you now have thousands of people buying your book and reading your ideas. You see this and think, who is this guy? Let me take a look at his book. You start reading my book and think I have ideas that are valuable, so you decide to share it with your audience. And as a result, I now have thousands of people buying my book and reading my ideas. Notice how different this is from my creating a little creepy Amazon account, finding your book and leaving a bad review, hoping that this will deter a few people from buying your book, which will in turn somehow get them to buy my book. Habit number 4 is think win-win. Stop thinking of everything as a zero-sum game. For you to win, another person does not have to lose. Something I want my viewers to do is to subscribe to my channel. But you will never hear me say, well, I worked really hard, guys. I dedicated so many hours to this. Please subscribe. Look, who cares if I worked hard? Who cares if I've spent days creating this video? The real questions are, does it offer value to you? And why should you dedicate your time to subscribing when you could be doing anything else that you want? Habit number 5 is something that I try to use every single day with every interaction that I have and with every comment that I reply to, and it is this: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, imagine there are 2 people and a tree with 5 apples on it. They're both too short to reach the apples, but if one of them sits on the other's shoulders, he can reach all 5 of the apples. This is called synergy. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that you can't achieve this with everyone, but you should always be looking for opportunities to create. With every synergistic opportunity you create, you can gather many more apples than you otherwise would by yourself. Habit number 6 is synergize. A man has been trying to cut down a tree for hours, and after a while his neighbor can't take it anymore, goes over and says, "You know, if you sharpen the saw, you'll be able to cut it down faster." And the man replies, "But sharpening the saw is going to take time." Now, we might laugh at this story, but we do the same thing all the time. We can't find 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week to go to the gym. Our health deteriorates to a point where we're physically incapable of being effective. We can't read a book for 15 minutes a day and mentally stimulate ourselves. No, these things take too much time. And then we have the audacity to ask for little tips and tricks on how to be effective. It's like telling your engineer, "Don't worry about the foundation. Where can we get the magic bricks that will float in the air?" Habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. And these are the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey.
All right. Is there anything that you guys wanted to share from that video or any questions that you had?
I like that saw analogy. That really stuck out. That's a good point, because it gives off so much goal that any results out of it. But then you complain because you're not doing anything to fix it. So I really like that.
Awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to share or any other questions?
I don't think so. And I'm so sorry. I could go to the question.
Sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you properly.
Sorry, I don't think there's a question.
Sorry, did you say you don't have a question? Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Okay, now I can hear you. I don't know what happened for like the last minute or so. Did you say you don't have a question?
No, I think we're good. I don't think we have any.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we're just going to put it all together and just to remind you, and then also we've just got links about talk about the things that we discussed today, and we'll send it through to you guys as a handout so you can go through it. But basically what we talked about today is that balance gives us the confidence to live a better, fuller life, and we can maintain balance through setting daily goals. In addition to balance, we should seek for wellness. Wellness is a holistic concept that includes satisfaction with our physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, and emotional selves. And success is not determined by what we have, but by the relationships that we form. And so at the end of the day, I think the main thing that we all picked up from this is that balance is not about being perfect, but it's about, just trying our best. And as long as you feel good about the efforts that you're making in the areas in your life, then that should be good. Then you should be happy, or you will be happy, instead of feeling like you're just always trying to strain yourself in everything. Chantal, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to say that I think sometimes when you think of wellness, you only think of your physical health, but all those areas are important to wellness. It's more than just exercising and getting enough sleep. It's finding balance between all those things. Like I just said, the spiritual and the emotional, and the social and all those things, like that really makes you a well person. Like you can't truly achieve health and wellness if you don't things in your life.
Yeah.
So
yeah, thank you. Again, guys, thank you so much for taking time out to participate in this. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your insights. In as much as we've taken time to prepare the lessons, but we've also learned a lot from you guys and the things that you share. And all of this with the baby and with work and with everything that you have to deal with. We just wish you all the best, and we really, really appreciate the time that you've given to us.
yeah, thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate it. It's been amazing. So thank you.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
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 See ya.
That went well. Good job.
Yeah. Yay. One person done, one to go, right?
Yes, I'll be so happy when all that's done.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. But we're almost there. I honestly didn't even think that I could be like at the end of the practicum and be smiling. Like, but yeah. I think, okay, so let me just finish the one for lesson 2 and send it. And I'd like to do the other one quickly as well and send that one. So basically, just to confirm, the learning integration, we're writing how we use our previous learning for this particular. Okay, cool, no problem.
So there's 2 sections to it. There's the first part is the reflection. And so that's when you just kind of talk about like how the lesson went, how they seemed to respond to it. If there was like one type of like teaching method or something that they responded to. So like with Kellen and Allie, I put like that, that music video that I put in there. They seemed to really like respond to that. And so I mentioned that in the reflective part of it and just kind of talked about like, how they participated and like just generally how it went. And then the integrative learning part or the learning integration, it's like trying to make connections between the things that we've studied at BYU Idaho and like our lesson, basically.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Yeah.
I've already done the reflection part with the one lesson. I just need to finish the learning integration. So, yeah, and I see that it's not a lot. It's like 10 lines. So, yeah, I will definitely do that now and just send it through to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can just let me know if there's anything that I need to do. Okay, and you said that we need to do the summary for the feedback.
Yeah, so I was gonna try to do that this week. I'll probably try to get it done by the weekend so that we can turn it in. Because it seems like she grades over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like early in the week, she'll update everything. So if we can have as much turned in by this weekend as possible, I think that would be the best. Like by Monday probably, like try to get as much turned in. That way, like hopefully everything can get approved before Saturday next week, because that's when the portfolios due. So.
Okay, that's fine. I think now I'm going to do Courtney and Mike. Tomorrow I'm going to be home all day. I'm not going to work, so I'll do Kellen and Ali tomorrow. So definitely everything when it comes to the summaries and everything will be submitted by the end of the day tomorrow. And if there's anything else that you need me to do, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be home. Well, most of the day, because you know how it starts. I'm on leave from work. Just so that I can be able to get my schoolwork done and everything. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have to go to work now. I could go back to bed, but I won't.
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
That's nice that you can do that. I have I think I have 13 hours left of my internship, and I'm trying to get that done. Trying to get as much of it done this week as possible so that next week, because I know next week's going to be like she said, it's going to be more intense school, because I think we have a paper or something we have to write
Okay.
for this practicum. So I'm trying to like get as much work done for my internship this week, because it's like crazy just getting to the end, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if we're gonna have a lot the last week, like on the 14th week?
I don't think so. I think as soon as we turn the portfolio in on Saturday, the week after is just like, yeah, I don't think that we'll have a lot at all. I think it's just, you know, getting to that point, or anyone else who has stuff to submit. It's kind of like for those people. But
Yeah. It looked like we do have a paper to write, though. There was like a 100-point paper, I think, on the
okay. I
assignment.
can look at that. And if we need to meet next week, I'm okay. Like it would be, I'm more able to do it earlier in the week rather than later. But yeah, anytime that works for you. Like if we need to meet to do the paper, I don't mind doing that.
I think that the paper is separate, because I don't think it's a part of the portfolio.
Oh, okay.
But I know that it's in the, I'm trying to go to it right now. I know that it was in the list of assignments.
Okay.
So
with regards to the portfolio, I know we had to include the introduction, we had to include the, and then I'll still do the references. Yeah, let me just finish the lesson reflection thingies, and then I'll do the references. And did you say that you will, so I'll put the references on there. Did you say that you're good at like converting them to APA format?
I've actually pretty much already done most of that. I didn't do it on the Google Doc, but I did it on like my document. So I'll, like, when you put in the references, I'll just add that into my Word document, and then I'll upload that into Google Docs so you can see it. But it's just easier for me to work off of Microsoft Word than is the Google Docs. But I've pretty much already like formatted it. Most of it was pretty much already in the right formatting. It was just like some minor tweaks. So it was it wasn't bad.
Okay.
So I'm on the class content right now. I'm looking at the assignments. We have, sorry, go ahead.
Which ones do you want me to add? Do you need me to add the ones for the lessons that I did?
For the references?
Yeah.
So if you want to like go through all, so I think on the portfolio that I put on Google Docs, it should have all the lesson plans on there. So if you just want to go through them all and like copy and paste the references onto the reference page and the portfolio, because I put a blank page that just says references towards the end, and then you can just like put them in the right order, like alphabetical. And that's all really needs to be done. So
okay, I can do that. That doesn't
and then
take long.
I can make sure. I mean, it should all be properly like APA you know, it should already be in that format, so it shouldn't be difficult to do. Just be copying and pasting and making sure it's all alphabetical. So yeah, there's a final reflection paper, and then there's a peer assessment and a self-assessment.
Okay.
So, and then there's a reading summary, but I don't know if that's us or not.
Okay.
Oh, I think that one is us, actually. I think we do that one, because I think next week we have like a reading assignment.
Okay.
So that's like all that's really left. I don't have too hard of a time writing paper, so I'm not too concerned about that. But
yeah,
it's just time. Just time.
Let me see. Okay, I see. Okay, I was just trying to open the portfolio. Okay, so it's just the reflection that we have to do. Do we have to do that individually, or do we have to do it like, or you said we don't have to add it onto the portfolio?
I don't think we have to add it into the portfolio. I think it's just individual. Like, I think, because I didn't see that in the sample portfolio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not in the portfolio section on like on the content, you know, it has like reading, like reflection questions, and like that, you know, down the list, and then it'll have portfolio. And this isn't listed in the portfolio section, so I think it's on our own.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. I see that all the lessons are included in there. It's a lot, hey? Like when you put it all together.
It's even more like when I put it in APA format, because I double spaced everything. So it's like 140 pages or something like that. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so I see, I've seen all of this, but there's no page for references. So I'll just create that, and then let me just double check.
Yeah, it should go like right before the appendix.
Right before the appendix. Okay.
So it should be like after Nelson, like reflective and learning integration. It'll be after that and then before the appendix.
Okay. Okay, I'll go through that and check that. But yeah, thank you for everything. Thank you for all your efforts. And thank you so much for your help with my resume. I got an M+ for that, so I was so worried about that. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, it worked out, so I'm glad.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
All right. So I will see you tomorrow.
Friday.
Both of us, right? Wait,
Friday.
what time? Yeah, Friday.
So we're meeting. Let me see here. We're meeting Friday at 7.
Okay.
7 Idaho time.
Okay, that's fine. That's yeah, that's tomorrow for me, but it's day after for you, right?
Yes. Sorry.
No worries. Okay. Let me work on this integration summary and see it through.
All right. Well, sounds good. You enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my evening.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.